How long would DanTDM need to spend in prison for his crimes in episode 1 of his custom modded adventure series, Hospital Mission? Before getting into the final sentencing, I'd like to first start off with all the little crimes he did and the story of this episode. So, at the beginning of the episode, DanTDM immediately, frame 1 once again has 8 blocks of TNT just lying around, which is a crime, of course, as we all know. But he hears his doorbell, so he goes to check it out, and it's Craig the mailman. And he hands him a letter from the hospital. This letter is the hospital asking for backup from Dr. Treyoris and DanTDM. Dan leaves the lab and starts the hospital mission. Upon arrival, DanTDM is met with the receptionist of the hospital. After DanTDM says they're the stand-ins, she lets them in. Dan then heads immediately for the surgery room to meet with Surgeon Ralph, who tells him to grab some overalls and start working. As they suit up, they prepare to do the first task they are handed. And that task is to extract a golden bullet from a gunshot victim. But this is where the second biggest plot twist happens. Dr. Treyoris isn't a doctor. He's a doctor of science. So this means they ain't supposed to be here. So what they're doing is impersonating a doctor, which is a crime too. Whatever medical actions they do later, it's criminal. So anyways, ignoring that, DanTDM proceeds to do surgery. But the patient wakes up, so he stabs him 2 more times and kills him. He gets the bullet, but kills him. So that's straight up murder. After Dan hands in the bullet, we learn one thing: the surgeon does not give a single fuck, and he just gives him the next fucking quest without a single thought in his fucking brain that, hey, maybe this guy isn't a doctor. The second task is to extract a piece of flesh from a patient. Also, just for disclosure, I'm not gonna charge this. Moving him with a gravity gun isn't really illegal, because I assume it's with his consent. He's here, he wants to be tested, and blah blah blah. So I'm letting this pass. Because anyways, how the fuck is he gonna move him? He's a fucking villager. If it's a crime, you guys can tell me, oh, in UK law, you can't move people with gravity guns, but I'm keeping this as legal. So anyways, DanTDM, being the fucking idiot, grinds him to death because he's not a certified doctor. But he still thinks, oh my god, Dr. Treyoris has doctor in his name. I must be able to do it. Brother, you didn't go to medical school, you fucking idiot. Okay, anyways, so he kills him. And then he even robs him. He robs his body. He just grabs all his money and just leaves with it. So that's like murder again and robbery. How great is that? This is episode 1, by the way. He started his series like this. This is his fault. After handing in the flesh to the surgeon, DanTDM tells him that the patient went home and that he didn't grind him to death. Wow, what a great idea. And then the doctor is like, oh, sure, man. Here's the third patient. So DanTDM must destroy the third patient and rebuild him in the sewing department. Now, I'm not gonna count this as illegal since in this world, we have never seen another hospital apart from this video, from what I remember. So I'll consider this as legal in their world of medical practice. So now, he destroys him and he goes to build him up. So he steals his leg, torso, and head, and then puts it into the sewing machine to bring him back to life. Now, considering you probably need a license to operate this machine, I'll consider each of its uses as different crimes. Also, for no reason, he just starts taking a bunch of body parts from the chest. For no reason! So that's another crime. Just stealing. He's just stealing in broad daylight. Despite that, the doctor still gives him his 4th final patient. This final patient has already been destroyed and is ready to be repaired in the sewing department. So DanTDM, who isn't certified by the way, takes a couple more body parts and even some money from the chest. But before he can put him back together, he needs to reform his head by using his brain and other material. But he messes up and makes a zombie head. So he puts him all back together, but there's one slight issue. The guy now has a zombie head, so he is permanently disfigured because this fucking idiot doesn't know how to do his job. Which isn't even his job, so he's just pretending. He's LARPing. He's LARPing the whole way through, and they're all falling for it. I don't even have to explain why this is a fucking crime, you get it? But before leaving, DanTDM decides to rob them just one more time for good old time's sake. And after telling the doctor what happened, he still pays him the full price because he finds it's a great job. What an incompetent ass doctor. And also, just to remind you, he's been carrying out the dead flesh of the guy he grinded this whole time. He's been just carrying the flesh. Like, oh, like this is completely normal? You fucking psycho! He does put everything back eventually, but he still keeps the $3 he stole from the dead guy he grinded to death. But he puts everything back, all the body pieces, he doesn't bring that back, he just keeps the money. The money he robbed, and the pay he got from doing this horrible job. So DanTDM decides to go home, but before finishing the episode, he decides to give me one last little gift. So after rereading the letter, DanTDM realizes that this whole time, the letter was meant for a Dr. Heinfeld and not him at all. So this whole time, he was pretending to be another guy. So he stole his identity, he pretended to be a doctor. There's so many crimes, so many. This is the first episode, and he's practically a criminal mastermind. And also, let's not forget, at the end of the video, he explodes his whole base with the 8 TNT blocks he has. So, when you count all of the crimes together, you find out that if he did this, just this episode by itself, he would have 5 life sentences and 29 years in prison. This is the worst first episode I've ever seen. It's so bad. If you guys thought that was crazy, the next episode he frees rapists. So stay tuned. Also, for those who are confused, this is part 1. This is a remastered of the original, so don't worry. Part 5 will be coming out next week. It's just I wanted to do remastered since the first part sucked so much.